Hi guys, in this video I want to talk about a strategy that is a guaranteed way to make money on eToro or any other trading platform. Now just a quick disclaimer, this is general advice only, it's not a formal recommendation on how you should manage your own money. This strategy relies on investing for the long term and not on trading short term. For this strategy you will have to use a broad market ETF that buys shares in a specific market or in a few different markets. So here on eToro, if I was to implement this strategy now, I would probably go with the ACWI because it has shares in both the US and other countries, both emerging markets and developed countries. A similar strategy could also be used for the SPY, so this one here, but this one would track the S&P 500 only, so only the biggest companies in America. But the strategy would work both ways, the same way for both ETFs. I can't tell you what the market is going to do next week, next month, in 6 months, or even next year or within a couple of years. I really can't tell if it's going to go up, down, or sideways. But historically, the market always goes up if you look long term enough. If you widen the time horizon, it always goes up. And this is just a chart of the S&P 500 or the SPY, which tracks the S&P 500. And you can see exactly that. Now, if we look into smaller time frames, and let's just pick a random one here. So if you look just at that small time frame there, the market went down. So if you were to buy once and forget about your money and get your money back a few years later, you would lose money. But if you were to give the market time, you would see that the market would start going up again. And if you gave it enough time, you would see that it went up much more than at that high there. So this strategy relies on you buying a certain amount of money or putting a certain amount of money into this ETF, and you put the same amount of money regardless of what the market is doing once a year on the same day of the same month. So let's say that you decide to put $1,000 on the 1st of September every year. So that means that during this ups and downs, you would be buying at different values. Once a year, you would put $1,000 into the market. We know that long term, the S&P 500 gives or pays about 10% return on your investment. Knowing that the S&P 500 returns about 10% a year, we can do some calculations for the long term. So let's calculate how much money we would have after 10 years investing $1,000. I'm going to be extra conservative here, and I'm going to use a 7.5% interest rate instead of 10%, just to account for some of the expenses and the tax that you would pay on your returns. If you put $1,000 per year, after 10 years you would have more than $16,000. More than $5,000 of those $16,000 would be interest alone. Now let's imagine that this is actually a situation in which you invest for a really long time, such as from age 25 till retirement age at 65. And in this case, you can see that you would have almost $250,000. And the big chunk of that money would come from interest alone. More than $200,000 would come from interest alone. Now let's go back to 10 years and now let's invest a little bit more. Let's say that you can save $12,000 a year and you keep putting $12,000 a year every year on the same day of the same month. In this case, you can see that you would get to almost $200,000 after 10 years. If we go back to that example with 40 years in which you are investing since age 25 until age 65, you can say that in this example, you would reach retirement age of 65 with almost $3 million. Most of that money would come from interest alone. This is a safe strategy. It's a safe, laid-back, easy way. You just go into the platform once a year, you put whatever amount of money that you decide to allocate on a given day of a given month every year the same way. So that's pretty much it. I hope you found it helpful. My name on eToro, or the name by which I'm known on eToro is Johnny Rico. Come and say hi. I'll leave an invitation to join eToro in the comment section below. Keep well. See you in the next one.